Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 3. I have gone through week 1. I need to read your responses on week 2, and I just wanted to get you started on week 3. All of the feedback that I might give will be available today or tomorrow with regards to your authentic questions. On week 3, we're talking about factors that influence language learning. Previously, we've talked about myths with regards to language learning theories, and now we're talking about factors that influence language learning. And one of the first things that you're going to do, there's 2 sections of work. One is content and the other one is application. And in the content section, you're going to be reading chapter 3 of Lightbound and Spada. That's this book. You'll need to read chapter 3, and then you'll also want to read pages 35 and 37 from chapter 2. So that's the reading that you're going to start off with. And the question that you're going to be answering is, and I want to be able to express this clearly, I want you to compare the language learning experiences of 2 different groups. I want to compare and contrast. How are they similar? How are they different? And the 2 different groups that you would contrast would be the first group would be, the majority culture, majority language is their dominant and native language, and then they're learning a foreign language that they've selected. And then the other group is they are not, the first one is affluent, the second one is a little bit financially insecure, and they are not part of the majority culture, and they are not at home, they do not speak the majority language, but they are learning the majority language. Not out of selection necessarily, but more out of the pragmatic need of it. So for example, an example would be, say, a French woman. Okay, she lives in France. She's pretty wealthy, this particular woman, and she has decided she wants to learn Italian. How is her learning process of learning Italian different from, say, somebody who immigrated from Syria and was accepted into France, and at home they speak Syrian language, and they also have, of course, Syrian culture within their home, and they're learning French as a foreign language because that's part of the majority culture. So the question is, how do those 2 groups compare and contrast their language learning process? That's your content question number 1, and that's going to be coming out of chapter 3 from Lightbound and Spada, and you should give at least 2 direct references from the reading to support your response. Number 2 is a double entry journal, which is going to be addressing 5 different topics in the reading. And on the left-hand side of your double entry journal, you're going to be putting the actual quote, and on the right side of your double entry journal, you will put your response to that quote. Don't forget, when you put the quote from the book, you'll have to put the page number in there as well. And then on the right side, you're going to put your response to that quote, your thoughts, your questions, your analysis, anything that you are moved to consider with regards to that quote. And you need to have 5 different quotes, and that's for your double entry journal. In the application section, there is a video, and you're going to want to watch that video and watch it again, take notes. There should be a document attached that you can print up and take notes on that document if you want, just to help kind of guide your note taking. The video is going to ask you to pay close attention to some of the details of the speech of the non-native speakers that are there, and you're going to have to kind of pick through the video to find examples of things that the students or the people in the video have learned, or things that they have not yet learned where they made mistakes. So that is activity number 1 of the application section. And pardon me, and that's, so you watch it again with notes, and then you're going to summarize your notes into kind of a narrative style paragraph. And that's all of activity 1 right there. And activity number 2 in the application section is in order to learn more about your students and creating a tool to help you collect information about your students. The instructions are fairly vague, but you can either create like a survey, like with 10 or so different questions or 20 different questions for your students, or you can get a little bit more creative. For example, ask the students to create a video of something in their home, or create a video of their their friendships, their best friends, or if not that, maybe interviews, or these are just 2 ideas. So I want you to come up with your own ideas and not give you too many examples, but to develop a tool. So you can either do the survey or you can develop your own tool. It's your choice, but you'll turn in what that tool is and what information you hope to get from the student and their life around what they bring into the classroom from that tool. So it's kind of getting that background information, which we've talked about as being really important. Once again, please don't hesitate to send me emails if you've got questions about things. This week there was some questions about due dates, and I think I hope I've nailed those down. I'm just sifting through and getting things fixed, and if you want to send me a place where a due date is not correct, by all means, I'll go in and correct it. I sent out an announcement basically stating that the authentic questions are due by Friday so that you can respond to them by Sunday night, and everything else is due Sunday night. Naturally, you can do it sooner than Sunday night, but it's like Sunday night at 11:55 p.m. is your total deadline, because Monday morning I will start looking at them. So that's going to supersede any previous deadlines. They moved around a little bit last week because we had a face-to-face meeting, and so I kind of jostled things a bit. But from here on, it's just Friday and Sunday. Friday and Sunday. And I think that before it was Thursday, so I've made it a little bit easier as opposed to making it a little bit more difficult. And that's all I've got to say. So I'm prepared to see you guys on Thursday, and there should be an agenda posted between now and then for what we're going to cover in the class. Also take a look in the announcement section, because I wrote a little bit speaking about some of the ideas that I had about vocabulary, and I think I kind of clarified it in the announcement section, hopefully. All right, onward, and have a great week. Thanks.